Hi there. Let's talk about how your core muscles play a big role in your athletic performance, especially when it comes to running. Now, when we say core muscles, we're talking about more than just the visible abs that look good on a beach. Your core includes all of those deep muscles that connect your pelvis, your hip, and your legs. You think about your core as your body stability center. It's where all of your limb movement starts. So when you're out running, your core muscles are designed to work to keep your torso balanced, your spine aligned, and your legs moving smoothly. So this means that improving your core strength will improve the efficiency of your stride, which is super important if you're trying to run longer or faster without getting tired too quickly. So plus, the more your legs move efficiently, then that keeps your knees healthier by reducing all of that unnecessary stress, which I consider a bonus for ab training. So now, in addition, if you're wanting to boost your running distance or your endurance, it's critical to control those trunk movements. So movements like side bending, rotating, and flexing. So these exercises on this video will help you train your body to resist these motions and let you save more of that energy for your longer runs or so that you can run faster. And now for the rest of this video, I'm going to talk about the importance of core stability and the importance of your spine flexibility and its mobility to keep runners like you injury-free and running for years. As a bonus at the end, I'm going to show you a few exercises that'll help you alleviate some back pain. So are you ready to fully unlock the power of your core and transform your running game? Let's dive in. So I thought that this video was important since I've noticed that abdominal training and core stabilization exercises seem to be the first thing after stretching that get cut from any running program. But a stable and well-aligned posture during your runs comes from a solid core, and a stable posture is going to translate into better running efficiency and performance. So in fact, a study in sports medicine has shown that core strengthening training can improve your running economy for distance runners. And now running economy is a fancy way of saying that we're talking about how much energy it costs you to run. So this research article confirms that you're stabilizing your trunk will allow you to run and waste less energy, which allows you to run faster and or longer. So as a side note, part of the core that is frequently overlooked is your pelvic floor. So your pelvic floor muscles might not get that much attention, but they are a critical part of your core. So these muscles support your bladder, your bowel, and in women, your uterus by creating a sling at the bottom of your trunk, right, in the undercarriage. So if these muscles are not strong enough to tolerate all the impact that you're creating when you're running, then your pelvis will not be stable, and that's going to open you up to some injuries. So your trunk operates very similarly to a soda can, your diaphragm being the top, and then the sides being your internal and your external obliques, your rectus and your transverse abdominal muscles. Your pelvic floor represents the bottom of the can, and so if we hold our breath, then we're able to lift heavier weights, because we're able to expand our lungs and push all of our stomach contents out and create all this extra pressure here. So as long as everything is strong enough, then you're able to lift a lot more weight. You're able to tolerate a lot of things. It's one thing that powerlifters use. But let's say that your core isn't strong enough. Then what happens is your body is going to flex or change position, and that opens you up for injury when you're trying to lift something that's too heavy for your core to overcome. The other thing is kind of one of those embarrassing moments that everybody notices, that if you suddenly sneeze or maybe you do a quick motion, if that pelvic floor isn't strong enough or reactive enough, then what happens is we leak. So that is one reason why pelvic floor is a very important thing to try to strengthen, but it is often overlooked. Kegels are recognized as that go-to pelvic floor exercises. However, they really are just entry-level strengthening exercises. It's more like how do I activate that muscle? But for running, squats and bridges when they're performed properly, they really do engage your pelvic floor muscles, and along with some of the other muscles that will give you that tangible advantage for running. So don't stop at just Kegels. We try to advance that to something that would translate directly into running. So at every phase of your stride, your core muscles are engaging to stabilize your pelvis, your spine, and to reduce or control trunk and limb movements. And that way it can conserve energy to help you with that force transfer going forward. And a practical example of highlighting the significance of pushing off from a solid foundation is contrasting between getting up from a beanbag chair and a kitchen chair. Getting up from that low kitchen chair is much easier and takes far less energy than trying to get up from a beanbag chair. There is research in sports medicine also that backs up the critical role of core stability for efficient movement control and efficiency. Or effective movement control, and efficiency. Apologize for that. So the benefits of core training for runners don't just stop at improving the quality of your running form or your movement. A robust core helps lower the risks of typical running overuse injuries. So according to a review in the Medicine and Science in Sports and Exercise, runners with weak core stability are prone to more lower extremity injuries. So anything your hip, knee, and ankle, you're more prone to it the weaker your stomach is. Which tells me that strengthening your core is like stacking the deck in your favor to ensure that you can run healthily and happily for many years to come. Let's talk about other parts of a running program to consider that will help you run for years to come. When running, if you lack flexibility in your hips, your knees, or your ankles, your running mechanics will be thrown off. So, hip extension, for example. If you don't have that hip extension, then it's going to force you to compensate by hyperextending or overextending your lower back, which will compress your spine. So over time, that repetitive compression causes degenerative joint changes, osteophytes, compressions, fractures, and disc bulges. Now, you might think that if you're super flexible, it's very safe to run, but that's not necessarily the truth either. So let's take example, your ankle flexibility. We all have that friend that's able to completely turn their foot sideways and they're fine and it doesn't bother them. And that's great until you start running on uneven surfaces or you accidentally end up half on a sidewalk and half off. Because if you don't have the control to bring that foot back onto the sidewalk or to control the motion when you hit that uneven surface, then that ends up being an ankle sprain compared to somebody who has the control where it might just be an awkward step. And so that's one of the reasons that flexibility and control is important. This same logic applies to your spine. So when one joint in your lower back is flexible or not flexible, then the adjacent ones have to become more because they have to compensate. So they become overly flexible, and this excessive motion can lead to pain and irritation. In the event that there is an exaggerated vertebrae movement, then your back muscles will tighten up to protect your spine from a catastrophic event, hence back pain. So in contrast, that joint that doesn't have the flexibility can develop arthritis. It has decreased joint spaces, which is going to allow for that because of that compression, and that can allow for other bone injuries or joint degradation. So therefore, by including stretching and mobility exercises in your running routine, you can promote a healthy spine by achieving a balance between the strength and the flexibility. But what happens if you already have a back injury, which lots of people do? Back pain is incredibly frustrating, and oftentimes muscle spasms are the primary causes of back pain. So while stretching can be a good start for back pain, the best long-term solution involves strengthening your abdominal muscles. By strengthening your core muscles, you're increasing that stability of your spine and reducing the workload of those lower back muscles, which allows that muscle spasm to go away. So check out these exercises in this video. They're my top picks to ease lower back pain. These exercises are intentionally low intensity and specifically targeting your abdominal muscles while minimizing the likelihood that you'll recruit other muscles. So higher intensity exercises like leg lifts, planks, and dead bugs can sometimes make back pain worse because you're unknowingly involving your hip flexors or your lumbar extensors, those low back muscles. So by concentrating on these specific exercises, you can effectively strengthen your core while avoiding straining your low back unintentionally, and that lets that muscle spasm go away. So you've now discovered how much it pays to have a stronger core for running, but we know that exercising by yourself can be daunting and can be overwhelming. There's so much information out there, it can be very hard to figure out and make your head spin. And that's where we come in. I'm Dr. Molly with Your Goals Physical Therapy, and we're in the Cypress, Texas area. And we can cut through all that confusion by providing you a personalized core strengthening program. It's designed specifically for you and runners like you. Imagine eliminating all that guesswork and all the stress of where to start, what's right for your unique needs. So this is where our one-on-one guidance can help you ensure that you're going to do the right exercises so you can achieve your running goals without any setbacks or an injury. Discover how our personalized core training program can amplify your performance, endurance, and enjoyment of running every day. If you're in Cypress, Texas, choose from one of the options below to begin your journey. And until then, I hope you're having a great day.